Hey everybody, this is Jason Wheeler. I'm coming to you live from my man cave. It's actually in my garage. Got a little bit of my fishing tackle here on the wall. Today I want to talk to you about cryptocurrency. My dad just recently asked me if I could help him to get some cryptocurrency. Now at this point is the time when people are going to be getting in, and I want to provide a little bit of information that can help some people to not get wrecked by doing stupid stuff. I want to talk just a little bit about some basics of cryptocurrency. I just think that too many people are getting into crypto and they don't really have any idea what's going on. Cryptocurrency can get pretty confusing. I want to give you a few key terms. The first one is FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. You really need to know what FOMO is, because if you don't, there's a good chance you're going to make a mistake and FOMO into coins as soon as you decide to get into crypto. It's like, oh my God, I'm getting into crypto. I got to go buy Bitcoin, or I got to go buy whatever crypto you're going to buy. And people will just kind of like rush in. This is a really good opportunity and I don't want to miss out. So they end up kind of rushing in, setting up their account, verifying their information, figuring out how to fund their account, and then going and making it a purchase. You don't have to do that. You can set up an account now and get it funded and get it verified and start to learn and understand what you're doing and start to follow certain coins and start to plan certain types of buys and investments. That's what I would recommend. Okay. Another one is FUD, F-U-D, which stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They FOMO in, which means they buy coins that are overpriced and pay too much for them. But then when the market corrects and prices are way down, people have FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and they can't pull the trigger on making an investment on coins that are priced low. If you don't even know what those are, then you're definitely going to fall victim to them, okay? So just understand, pump the brakes, chill out. Volatility. The cryptoverse is very volatile. I'll tell you this right now. If you're going to invest money into cryptocurrency as a speculation because you want to get wealthy, there's a good chance you're going to lose your money. I personally don't recommend that you do that unless 100% of the money that you invest into crypto you're willing to lose. That you realize there's a really good chance I'm going to lose all this money and I'm okay with it. It's X percentage of my total number of dollars that I have of my portfolio, and I'm going to put this much of it in crypto. Worst case, if it goes to zero, I'm okay because I have all these other things. That's the way you should approach crypto. Even when your crypto goes way up and it's 10x or 20x above what it was, you should still have that feeling that this investment could crash to zero. It could become illegal. There's all kinds of things that could happen. And if all my money crashes and burns tomorrow and goes away, then I'm okay with it because I knew the risk. I knew the risk when I took it, okay? Other people will conveniently interchange words like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and crypto, and they do it in a way that confuses people who don't understand the space and the terminology and the interchangeability of those words. There's people that have money invested in certain coins and they don't have money invested in other coins, and there's little fights and spats in the crypto community about which coins are going to be successful and which coins are not going to be successful, and they're fighting and they're arguing. There are different forces that are going to be trying to take your money away from you, so you need to understand that going in. You have to be very patient. You have to be very cautious. You have to know that whenever you buy, there's a good chance that the price is going to go down at some point. Listen, if you're buying cryptocurrency because you want to try to get rich quickly, I don't think it's the right investment for you. I don't know about you guys, but I use PayPal, I use Zelle, and I even recently put Venmo on my phone. Why? Because I've had so many people ask me if they could use Venmo. So I said, fine, everybody wants Venmo, I'll use Venmo, but I don't necessarily like it. But my point is that once the technology is available for people to use, they will use it. Crypto is still in its infancy, where the tools aren't there to make it easy to use and to make it exciting to use and to make it, something that people would be into. And so there's going to be a process of still creating the technology and the apps and different stuff. And also there's been a process right now, there's legislation and things happening right now with lawsuits to try to sort out what's legal and what's not. So we're still so far in its infancy that it very well could be that all of the different cryptos, including Bitcoin and Ethereum and on down the road right now, every single one of them could possibly not even be the crypto that we use. It could still be down road that some other new crypto comes out, which is a really great scalable crypto that we can use into the future that could, be a viable payment system globally. And there are possibly some cryptos already in place that will do that. And we'll talk about those later. Don't ever buy crypto on margin. Don't ever buy anything on margin. The only way you should ever buy anything on margin is if you're a highly skilled, extremely experienced investor with a ton of money, with super deep pockets, and you see some opportunity where on margin you can make a killing. You only need a small correction to your portfolio for there to be a call of the entire portfolio, which means you could lose all your money very quickly. Absolutely don't buy cryptocurrency on margin. That's the quickest way. They want you to buy crypto on margin. You know why? Because you're going to lose your money, and when you lose it, guess who gets it? Somebody else. Don't do it. Let me ask you this. Do you guys use PayPal? Because I use PayPal quite a bit. I pay the housekeeper with PayPal, the landscaper. I pay lots of people with PayPal. If I need to send money, if that's what they ask for, I send PayPal. If they ask for Zelle, I send Zelle. If they want Venmo, I send Venmo. But eventually we'll be able to send crypto to each other. And so we're already doing it, but we're doing it with PayPal and Zelle and Venmo, which actually is not as convenient as it could be. And it's a third party. We're at their mercy. The money is settled when they say it is. Whereas with cryptographic currency, you have a crypto wallet where you can send your money to somebody immediately or close to immediately. What is even the purpose and what is even the point of there being cryptocurrency? Why don't we just continue to use dollars and central bank issued fiat currency like dollars and yen and euro? Why don't we just use those? Well, right now there's an argument for cryptocurrency being not only something that we can use in the future, but also being an investment. And that's mostly due to central banks and fiat currencies being so inflated that the value of those currencies is going down and is becoming weaker, which is making other types of investments like cryptocurrency look more attractive, especially when you see how much they're going up as the dollar's going down. So if we had strong money and strong central banks that, were for the people and we're not just trying to control everything, then we probably wouldn't need cryptocurrency. And we probably don't need cryptocurrency. Of course, something like cryptocurrency would come along, and some of the benefits that you might not be thinking of as an American is that you don't have to worry about money as much as people in other parts of the world. Some countries don't even have their own currency. They use the currency of a neighboring country or the next closest major country. You take countries like Zimbabwe or Argentina or Venezuela, there's so many of them over time, but what happens is eventually their dollar just goes broke because it's just overinflated and it's not worth anything anymore and no one will accept it anymore. So that's kind of what's happening in the United States when they just keep passing more legislation and printing more money and putting the taxpayers on the line. Enter cryptocurrency, something like Bitcoin, with only a total of about 21 million units that can ever exist. That's something that's much more scarce, and therefore they don't have to worry about people creating more and more Bitcoin. And so people are looking at it as an investment and a way to make money. There's a couple of reasons why I'm very interested in cryptocurrency. Of course, I like it as an investment because the amount of money that I put in is much lower than the amount of money that it's worth now, meaning that the investment's gone way up in value. So, of course, I'm excited about that, but it's twofold. It's not only the investment opportunity of the cryptocurrency, but it's also the utility. The ability that we can control our own money without banks and central banks and third parties controlling our money or having less control of our money is something that excites me, especially in this environment with governments being super shady and corrupt. You may not need cryptocurrency. You have plenty of dollars and plenty of different types of accounts and access to international currency very easily. But think about other people in other parts of the world. Some person with a mobile device can actually go do whatever type of service that they do, and they can actually get paid on their mobile device. Whereas getting paid in some other country that doesn't even have currency could have been very difficult. and that this allows kind of more of a level playing field for them. So we don't really need it, but we will see the utility and the value once it's made easy for us to use. And in the meantime, other parts of the world do need this. And so even if you don't think it makes sense, the rest of the world does and will. I personally really like the idea and the concept behind being able to have some cryptocurrency and then being able to send it to people as payment. I like that. Even if it stayed steady in value and it didn't fluctuate in value, but it was just a new type of banking currency that allowed me to get away from bankers and central bankers and government types and have my own control and my own thing, I'm in favor of that. Whenever we can get to a point where there's less volatility, that's probably better. I'm not just saying that crypto is so awesome because you can make a ton of money, because I know you can lose your money probably faster than you'll make money. I really like the technology and I like the hope that it brings. I like the possibilities of what cryptocurrency does for creating more of a free world. Guys, be super careful. If you're getting ready to jump into crypto right now and you're gonna go buy Bitcoin when it's 56,000, I think that's what it is today. I mean, you're buying at a high, okay? You really have to look at what your long-term plan is for investing. Do you even have any plan for investing, or you just think that this is something that you should get into? You could buy Bitcoin at 56,000 and you could still get rich on it, but I don't recommend it. And like I said, this isn't about financial advice. Let's say you did buy Bitcoin at 56,000, and let's say tomorrow the market crashes to 32,000. And let's say we go through a bear market for 2 years and it sucks. And then eventually it comes back and we get to right about where we were now. This is totally hypothetical. And let's say Bitcoin goes to 100 grand and you paid 56,000, then you can still make some good money on it. But if you buy it for 56,000 and it drops to 30 and then you sell it, you're gonna lose money. So just don't do it. And if you invest money that you can afford to lose, then you shouldn't have to sell it because you shouldn't need that money down the road. Cryptocurrency is so volatile. We had a horribly bad bear market for like 3 years, like between 2018 and 2020, that was so bad. And like all of a sudden the market's great and Bitcoin and a bunch of other cryptos have skyrocketed, and people are big time FOMO. They're jumping in, that they think that if they don't get in, that Bitcoin's gonna go to $1 million and they're gonna miss out. It's like, Bitcoin is not gonna parabolic go to $1 million. If it ever did go to $1 million, it's gonna take time, it's gonna take several market cycles, it's gonna take a lot more money getting into the space before that would even happen. So you have time. As volatile as the cryptocurrency market is, right now we're in a really great time. But if you look overall at the market, it hasn't shown enough strength to have such a FOMO that this market is going to be so great, when if you've been in long enough, this market is constantly disappointing. The likelihood that Bitcoin is going way down between now and whenever is extremely high. I mean, Bitcoin went to 10 grand, it was there for however long, it took a while to get to 20 grand. When it finally got to 20 grand, it basically sputtered after that and wasn't even ready to get to 20,000. And then we had a bear market for basically like 3 years. Okay, then we just came out of that. We blasted through 20,000. We blasted through 50,000. We got to like close to 60,000 or whatever it was. And really, there's no justification for even that kind of price right now. There absolutely needs to be a correction from $60,000 Bitcoin, at least probably to somewhere around 30 to 40,000 at a bare minimum. And probably, I mean, we barely held 20 grand and then we went into a bear market for 3 years. Like, if we could hold 25,000, that would probably be huge. So right now, jumping into this market, in my opinion, is a bad idea. But that doesn't mean that you can't be ready, because things change very quickly in this market. I'm not going to do any technical analysis. There's all kinds of MACDs and Fibonacci and different types of things that you can learn. I do understand some of the basics. I can also just look at a chart and tell you if it's bearish or bullish, just from experience and knowing. So if you don't know how to look at a chart and tell if it's bearish or bullish, you really need to learn how to do that before you go and buy stuff. Because I see people buying stuff all the time where I'm just like, why are they buying it? It's so bearish, that is not a buy. Something to consider: whenever the chart goes parabolic, and it goes pretty high, it's going to correct. It always does. Nothing goes parabolic and keeps going parabolic and keeps going parabolic and keeps going parabolic and keeps going parabolic. It just doesn't happen. So whenever it goes parabolic, parabolic, parabolic for like a day or whatever it is, a day or two, goes up 20, 30%, whatever it is, it's going to correct. It always does. Look at every single chart. It goes up, it comes down. Usually 50% or more of the gain is lost in corrections. So something to think about. If you see a chart that's starting to go parabolic and you're anywhere past right about the point where it started to go up, chart starts to go up. If you're not in by about here, you missed the boat. You try to get in up here, you miss the boat. Don't even do it. Another thing about cryptocurrency, don't assume you're going to outthink the market and it's going to do what you think it will. Don't assume the market's going to do what you think it'll do based on what you think the government would do. And don't assume you're going to get what you want. I would assume that you're going to get your ass handed to you in this market, and every single thing you do that's going to try to put you in a better position, the government and the powers that be that are going to try to legislate crypto are going to mess you up and try to pull the rug out from underneath you. Don't assume it's going to go your way. A lot of people want to know, is cryptocurrency like Bitcoin actually even usable at this point? And the answer would be yes and no. Right now, you can send Bitcoin from your wallet to somebody else's wallet. The problem with Bitcoin, which is the major cryptocurrency that most people know and want to invest in, the problem with Bitcoin is that it's very slow. To send Bitcoin to somebody takes too long. It's fine if you just want to send your family members some Bitcoin. They can afford to wait 30 minutes if it takes that long. Something that would work quickly so that when a person's making a transaction and pays, that within 2 to 5 seconds, their settlement and the transaction goes through so that they can move through the line and the next person can come. And we need that to be able to have hundreds of millions of transactions per second need to be able to happen in order for us to eventually be able to use this cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, for example, does not have the ability to do that. So Bitcoin isn't really scalable as a currency to use. It's more of a digital gold and a store of value. So yes, you can send crypto, but right now you can only send it from wallet to wallet. I don't see an app available at the moment that works for purchasers and merchants to be able to transact at a point of sale at this time. Is strongly consider what kind of mobile device you use and think about how you think you'll interact with your cryptocurrency. Do you think you'll use your mobile device, or do you think you'll use your desktop or your laptop? It just depends on what you want to do. Personally, I've really enjoyed using my iPhone and having the apps for the different exchanges that I use on my phone so that I always have them with me. So wherever I'm at, I can always open my accounts and check my balances and see what's going on. And also have the ability to make trades if I need to. I think you're better off with an iPhone than you are with an Android if you're going to use crypto, but either one of them will work, especially if you have the most update device. You want to make sure that you have your mobile device password protected. That way, if your device is ever misplaced, lost, or stolen, whoever finds the device can't get into it unless they have your password. Now you can also put certain exchanges on your device. I have the app for Bittrex and Kraken and Uphold because I have accounts at all three of those exchanges. Those three apps are also password protected. So when I click on my Uphold app, I have to put my password in for that to pop open. Same with Kraken, same with Bittrex, and same with when you open my phone when it's cold, when it's dark or whatever. You have to have the password. So now that your money is tied to your phone, you definitely want to make sure that you have your phone password protected. Now, another thing you definitely want to do whenever you create an account is you want to use two-factor authentication. I just use the Google two-factor authentication. There's other two-factor authentications you can use. They're all more or less basically the same. But to give you a brief understanding of what two-factor authentication is let's say you go on to either your app or you log on your mobile device or your desktop on a browser, and you go in and you log in with your username and your password. Well, if you get your username and your password, log in, boom, it takes you right into your website. Okay? Well, with two-factor authentication, you need your username and your password, and then it asks you for your two-factor authentication 6-digit number. Then what you have to do is you go onto your two-factor authentication, which is an app on your mobile device. You go onto your two-factor authentication, and you've already got your two-factor authentication set up. So you have it set up for Bittrex, set up for Kraken, set up for Uphold. Any type of account that you want to have two-factor authentication, it needs to be set up. It's a process where you have to scan a QR code or put in or copy and paste an address. It's pretty simple. But once you have it, so what you need to do is you click over to your two-factor authentication, and you'll notice that there's a number and there's a wheel. It's like a pie, and the pie is disappearing and it's disappearing and it's like a time wheel, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and it's going from a full circle all the way down to a little pie wedge, and then it disappears. So the point is that you only have a few seconds, about 10 seconds, to enter that number in before that number expires, at which case now a new number comes up. So you get the number, you look at it, it's 636-108, 636-108. Pull up your page, 636-108, enter, boom. So you need your username and your password and the two-factor authentication number that comes up on your phone that's random and changes every 10 seconds. That's a much higher level of security, and you absolutely want to put that on your device. But be careful, because if you switch mobile devices or you lose your device, it could create a problem with you getting into your account. I've actually had that happen to me on almost all of my accounts more than once, where I was locked out of my account and couldn't get in, and had to actually start a service order ticket through customer service and kind of walk through the authentication steps that they could verify that I was who I was, and then they were able to help me either set up a new password or a new two-factor authentication, so then they were able to, help me get that back online. So just keep in mind that could happen if you switch devices. But if you do get locked out of your accounts, it's not the end of the world. You're going to get back. You're just going to have to jump through some hoops and fill out some information, take a picture of yourself and some other BS and jump through some hoops. But it's possible, so try not to worry too much about that. The market's going to come and go. If you miss it, you're going to have opportunities in the future. So just relax, try not to worry, and don't make rash decisions. Be careful if you think you're going to start swing trading or try to day trade crypto. You think you're just going to try to buy lows and sell highs later in the day or later in the week. That's probably going to be very difficult. Not to mention, you could probably make more money swing trading crypto than just holding it long term. But every single time you sell, that's going to be a taxable event. Not to mention, if I sell my Bitcoin now, what am I going to have to pay to buy it back? My investment strategy approach, at least at this point, and it is subject to change, but I'm just trying to be patient and hold it long term. It's going to get bigger in the future. I think right now it's still in its infancy, and I think the possibility of making money in the future is definitely there, and I'm prepared for it to take a year or 20 years. It wouldn't take 20 years. I'm prepared for it to take even 5 years, which is a tremendous amount of time as far as technology. I want you guys to understand how the price of a coin is actually derived, and understanding the market capitalization or the market cap of each specific coin offering, as well as the market cap of the entire market, or as I like to call it, the whole enchilada. Unfortunately, I'm using my mobile device to film this video, so I can't pull up my coin market cap app in order to tell you what the current market cap is of the space, but it's been lingering at around 1.7 to 1.9 trillion dollars total market cap, whole enchilada, as of late. So what that means is that, I'm not looking at it, but let's just call it 1.8. That means if you add the value of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and all the altcoins, all the total value of the total thing together, it's about 1.9 trillion, which 1.9 trillion in market cap for the entire crypto space is pretty low. There's tons of money that's not in crypto, that's everywhere else. Real estate, gold, stocks, and gold's 10 trillion market cap, I believe. And gold's not even that big. I mean, gold's just gold. There's like derivatives and all kinds of mortgage-backed securities and other stuff that really there's a lot of the money is in those items. But getting back to calculating market cap, it can be difficult to wrap your head around the price and understand how does the price of Bitcoin go to $58,000? How is that even possible? But what you have to understand is there's only about 18 million and change total Bitcoin in place at this time. Bitcoin is mined by miners who use very high-tech computers to solve mathematical computations to prove that the money's transacted as it was supposed to. Only about another 3 million Bitcoin will ever be mined. And that doesn't even take into consideration how many Bitcoin have already been lost, where people have either, forgotten their password or all kinds of other reasons why people would lose Bitcoin. Okay, so, but what you have to keep in mind is there's only about 18 million Bitcoin. 18 million is extreme scarcity. That's hardly anything. The total price of Bitcoin, I think it's around 58,000. So let's say 58,000 times the 18 million Bitcoins, it's somewhere around $1 trillion market cap. So if you look at it more like $1 trillion of investment money has come into Bitcoin, it's not really that much. But when you put $1 trillion and you divide it into the 18 million coins, it comes out to 58,000, and that's the number, and that's how the price is created. So what you have to understand is that even Bitcoin, something that's already at $58,000 per coin, and somebody might say, well, why would I invest in Bitcoin if it's already 58,000? I mean, how much more could it really go up? Well, I'm not saying you should rush in and buy it either at 58,000, but I am saying that Bitcoin can absolutely go up in value tremendously. Right now, the market cap of Bitcoin is about $1 trillion. Well, guess what happens? If it goes up to 5 trillion, then that's about fivefold. And what's fivefold of 58,000? Let's call it 60,000. You're talking about 300,000. That's how you get your $300,000 Bitcoin. You get about 5 trillion into Bitcoin in market cap. So that's something that I didn't know early on, that took me a little bit to understand. And if you really break out your calculator and just play with the numbers and you kind of see it, it's empowering because you have a better understanding of price and how things work and how money comes into the market and moves out of the market. Bottom line is when more money comes into a coin, the price goes up. That's just all there is to it. And when people take their money out and they say, I want out of this coin, the price goes down, okay? So right now with the price of, for example, Bitcoin being so high, you have to wonder, have we already rallied and it took us this long in this market to get to the point where we've got, almost $2 trillion into the whole enchilada? And at this time, $2 trillion was just about the max we really could get, all of the companies and all of the retail to really put into the space. Maybe in another year, maybe 5 trillion will be ready to go into the space. Or maybe in 6 months, 5 trillion will be ready to go into the space. But a ton of money just came into the space. So buying now, thinking a ton more is going to come into the space, that might be far-fetched. Maybe it'll happen. I'm not saying it will or it won't. Be cautious about your cryptocurrency and the way that you approach it so you don't get wrecked. I did mention it before, but coinmarketcap.com, that's a website or an app you can get on your mobile device that lists all the coins based on their total market cap, Bitcoin being the highest with the highest market cap, Ethereum being number 2 with the second highest market cap. I forget what number 3 is right now, maybe Cardano. You can look at each coin, find out what the circulating supply of coins, find out what the total supply of coins, find out the market cap. You can look at the charts and see what the past pricing was and look at the trends and all kinds of different things and study it for technical analysis. So that's a really great website and or an app for your mobile device that if you're getting into crypto, I just don't even see how you could not have CoinMarketCap. Crypto 101, you gotta have that. Okay guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Like I said, I'm not offering financial advice. I'm not telling you which cryptos to buy. I'm not even telling you should buy them at all. I think it's extremely volatile. I think if you get into this space, you could lose all your money that you put into it. It's brutal, but it's also a good opportunity. Be careful. It's free to subscribe, and you can unsubscribe anytime for free too. So maybe you know somebody that's new to crypto or thinking about entering into crypto. Maybe you could share this video with them, and this would help them. Even if they can take one or two little details that helps them, that would be great. Thanks guys, I'll be back soon with some more videos on some different topics. Real estate agent stuff, flipping, side hustles, you name it. Stay tuned. Thanks.